Hey, hey, how are things in your marriage? Pretty good? Yeah, that's what I thought. Uh, I bet if I asked 100 people that question, 90% or more would answer something like, good. Oh, fine. Yeah, we're great. Oh, yeah, things are okay. But if we were to peek behind the curtains of their marriage or relationship, as I, being something of a relationship nerd and having uh, inviting many of these conversations into my life, even from strangers, we would find, as I have had the privilege to do, that 90% of these people, saying this in a very long way, I hope you're tracking, okay? 90% of the people who I would ask, if I were to ask this question, how is your marriage? And they said fine, 90% would actually be rather unhappy in their marriage, right? That they the truth of their internal world is that they would wish their relationships were so much better than they really are. Okay? That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the shit that has got to change because good, my marriage is good. Good simply is not good enough. And that's what we're going to get into today. But before we do, I want to drop a quick reminder that if you're the kind of person who is ready to make real change in your relationship, who wants to put these revolutionary relationship ideas into practice, then you belong inside the Relationship Revolution community. It's a membership community for only $147 a month where we take these ideas and move them from just learning about them to actually fricking doing them, putting them into practice, getting feedback, learning about ourselves, learning about our partners, learning about how to do this whole relationship thing different, better, and from a more conscious place. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about it at the end of this conversation, but I like to remind you in the beginning too, just in case I lose your attention before then. But truly, I hope you stay because this is a really important conversation about what is considered normal in our relationships, like what our standard is, what's possible in our relationships, what I would hope for us, the shit that I hope would change, and what we need to do to actually get there. So, welcome, my friends, to another Catalyst conversation for the Relationship Revolution, where we challenge the unquestioned assumptions about love, flip the script on what you have been taught, and many of the things, go into many of the things that you probably haven't been taught, and reveal those truths that no one has ever taught you. In this month's Catalyst conversation, we have been doing a series that I call Shit That Has Got to Change. This is episode 5. I'm calling it Good is Not Good Enough and How to Make It Better. And that's what we're talking about today, right? One of the biggest lies that we've ever been sold in our relationships is that if your relationship is good, that's enough. Bullshit. Our relationships have the potential to be extraordinary. Why aren't we going for that? Because the standard is good. The standard, oh shit, I just knocked a whole bunch of stuff off my desk and into the garbage can because I'm trying to move things away so I can set my water bottle down closer to me. It's all right. I'll fix it later. The standard is is based on ways of being that are way outdated and no longer working for us and no longer aligned with the level of consciousness and love and evolution that I believe we are ready for, moving toward, and absolutely fucking needing. So I'm going to take a sip of water. It's fun because I'm I'm like tracking the recovery of my cold based on these conversations, which I do every Friday. And I think my voice is like mostly better today, but I've still got sinusy things happening. So, bear with me. Come with me on this journey of recovery and healing. So let me take a minute to talk to you about why this matters. Also, let me take a minute to introduce myself because I think that I did not put an introduction into my notes today, which is fine because I know how to introduce myself without notes, right? For those of you who have not showed up to a Catalyst conversation before, this information is new to you. Welcome, my loves. My name is Dr. Jenny Wallig. I am co-founder of Powerful Love Relationships. I am a speaker, an educator, a mentor, and a disruptor. I call myself the relationship rebel and an intuitive infinite possibilities guide because in truth a lot of how I work is very spiritual, very intuitive, and I know that there are infinite possibilities available to us, and I can see them and I know how to bring people to them. It's part of my magical powers that the universe has gifted me with. So it's part of how I work. And the work that I do, and I do alongside my partner and soulmate Calvin in Powerful Love, our business, is has evolved into this amazing mission to revolutionize how we understand what it means to love, how we approach problems, how we approach solutions, and these days, really how we empower women to experience relationships such that we women can finally receive the love that our souls and our success deserve. And in so doing, whether or not our partners, our spouses, our men are involved in the work with us, which I hope that they are, but even if they're not, I want to empower women to start receiving this kind of love, to learn how to transform their relationships because we're spending energy in our relationships anyway, so let's make it more effective. But our desire is to invite and inspire our partners, the partners of women, into their evolution, into their growth, into their wholeness and humanity, because truly this is about all of us rising, all of us becoming more relational, more conscious, more whole, and more loving. And I center women and women's empowerment because I truly believe, and Calvin as well, that our world needs a shift in power toward greater feminine energy, needs a shift in power in relationality and relationships itself. If you've caught any of our other shit that's got to change series, in I believe the second episode, I talked about patriarchy and the fact that relationships themselves are feminine, like based in feminine qualities, feminine energies, all of the pieces that in patriarchy are minimized and even contempted, if that's a word, right? Like they're looked down upon. Softness and warmth and interdependence and intimacy and connection and relationality and vulnerability, all the things that make relationships happen. But these are the pieces really that I think is going to heal our world right now. And I think we women in our feminine energy, even if you're not in a female body, if you're not a female bodied or woman identified person, if you are a feminine, on the feminine leaning energy spectrum, your energy is what this world needs. And so this is the energy that I want to inspire and uplift because we have such healing ability. So this is where Powerful Love is evolving into, and I'm really excited about it. And again, it is not just about women, because this is an invitation for the masculine side to join with us in its strength and power. Because like the yin and the yang, when we come together, the extraordinary co-creative process, the extraordinary ability that we have for our own joy, for our own purpose, for our own cataclysmic everything that we can do in our lives, that we can experience in our hearts, in our beingness, in our souls, in our purpose, is nothing short of divine. And that is exactly why I want to have this conversation today. This is what happens when I don't have a script to do my introduction, right? I go off script and it's beautiful, right? Hearing me talk off script, uh, and also it goes a little long sometimes, but it's heartfelt. You feel it, don't you? This is real. This is so real. So I want to pull us back in to because I had a great segue there to why I'm talking about why good enough is not good enough because there is so much more. Now, I imagine that we all have a slightly different definition for ourselves, right, of what good is in our relationships. But generally speaking, this is what I have noticed that for most people, when they say their relationship is good, that good includes an acceptance of some form of a regular repeat occurrence of things like needs not being met, communication not going well, right? Conflict, disagreement, kind of ugly ways of interacting with one another, yelling at one another, swearing at one another, uh, thinking shitty things about one another, being in disconnection, issues going unresolved, having an imbalance of power or labor, household labor, emotional labor, mental labor, carrying a lack of joy or fulfillment in your relationship, not experiencing very much play or fun or adventure together, and even not feeling that true like deep sense of intimacy, which isn't just sexual intimacy. It's that like closeness. It's that knowing and being known by our partners, right? That really like profound connection, nakedness on a spiritual level, that kind of intimacy, right? These pieces, these levels, these layers, and there's probably more. They're not they're not up to par, and we settle like, meh, we're okay. Sometimes these are like really bad, but most of the time they're okay, you know. And 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 I think a part of it is that there's this expectation that marriage is going to be hard, and this expectation that relationships are work. And so we have these experiences where we have conflicts and we can't communicate and we're really different and our partner doesn't get us. And, oh, they're just, that's just how men are, or, oh, that's just how women are. And so, you know, that's just how marriage is. So we accept it. That's the standard. We tolerate less than what we really desire because that's considered normal. And these the really difficult, the really painful moments don't happen all the time. And in between the really hard moments, like, are those decent moments, right? Maybe even a few lovely ones. So overall, we call it good because isn't that normal? It's normal, sure. But it doesn't have to be. I would not like that to be normal, y'all. If this is part of the revolution I would like to create. Will you join me, please? Can we revolutionize normal and have a new standard of normal? Because that is not good enough, in my opinion. It is not what our relationships could be, not what I believe our relationships are meant to be. And honestly, I think that there's a part of all of us that knows it, right? That there's some part of us that knows that our relationships could be so much more. Why else do we watch, Disney movies as little kids and fantasize about this magic? Why else do creatives create such beautiful fantasies? Fantasy novels, romantic novels. Um, why do we get sucked into our own idealistic versions, but then come into reality where none of that can happen? Why the fuck not? Because we're human. Yes, humans are fallible, and human psychology and trauma in our world. Yes. And why the hell are we not working to learn how to get there, because I believe that that is possible. I believe that it is 100% possible to create something ever and ever closer to what it is that we desire. But if we decide that good is good enough, we're not going to get there, right? We settle for good as good enough, and not allow ourselves, because we've got this belief, that this is all that we can really expect, that wanting or desiring anything else is going to set us up to fail, and as part of the problem that needs change, we don't have the skills to know how to get better than good. I'm gonna talk more about this in a bit. So that when we try to get better than good, it backfires and it creates one of those problems, right? Conflict, miscommunication breakdowns, and hurts that go unresolved. We, and especially women, ask for more, ask for our needs to get met, ask for greater, deeper levels of intimacy, more fun and play, for uh, to be listened to differently or better, for more shared labor, and then things don't change, and so we stop asking. I was just talking to a woman, a client the other day, and that was exactly her story. She's like, "After 30 years, I've stopped asking." I was like, "Oh, God." Until she does ask, and this is what happens. Like, she doesn't ask until when she does, finally she gets fed up, and then it comes out in this big explosion. And now in the explosion, because she's so fed up, now she's not asking in a very effective way at all, and it's guaranteeing that it's gonna end up in conflict, and so he blows up, and now they're spiraling into one of their big blowouts, and it becomes more evidence of the fact that they're not going to get anywhere. Anywhere. Uh, so I'm off script again. Um, but my point is, right, this is part of the cycle, that we settle for good. And then all of our secret wishes, the longings of our heart, our unresolved hurts, the ache of everything that we know that we're not yet living or receiving in love in our relationships, it sits on the back burner until all that shit hits the fucking fan. And at that point, like in the story I just shared, there's been so much piled up over the years. There's so much stored up inside of us, that it explodes, and now we've got a giant mess, or that it's so big that there's no coming back from it, that unlocking the potential of our relationship is so much harder to do. That's not impossible. I've seen couples come back from the brink, come back from scorched earth, but it's a hell of a lot more harder. Uh, more harder? More difficult. It's a lot hell of a lot harder. Uh, a lot of people, a lot of couples don't have the energy, don't have the heart, no longer think that it's worth it at that point to go on that journey, okay? And that's why this conversation feels so important to me, because this there's so much lost potential. Listen, we live in this culture that doesn't prioritize relationships. It doesn't. In we talk up a good talk, we say relationships are important, but we don't actually in practice prioritize our relationships. Date nights, if we're lucky. But there's so much more that our relationships need. There's so much more we need in terms of our own growth and healing and learning journey to be able to do our relationships well. There's skills, there's effort, there's growing, there's time, and there's energy that needs to be invested in our relationships for our relationships to become everything that they can be. But the thing that we don't understand, the thing that most people don't realize, is that very much like our bodies, right? Like I think been thinking more and more lately about how parallel relationship well-being feels to like physical health well-being. That the more that we take care of our relationships, the more that our relationships take care of us. We get more energy, we get more capacity, we have more happiness, we have more inspiration, we have more support, more resources. It's just like more time on our hands, we're more efficient, we're healthier, we're mentally healthier. Just like it's just this, like we take care of this one thing and it solves a lot of other problems in our life. But that's not where culturally we prioritize. Instead, like we spend all these years learning how to succeed in school so that we can be good for our jobs, or we teach ourselves how to succeed in our businesses so we can make money. Or we maybe, like more and more, I think our physical health is becoming known to people because our aging is inevitable, or we can see the value of health that's starting to become more of an industry, but also there's a lot of capitalism and fear that's pulled into fear and what if and it's bad to look old or to I don't know, all kinds of crap that I don't love about the healthcare and beauty industry. But I'm not going to go down that tangent any further than I just have. But my point is like the same has not yet happened. We have not turned the corner in the same way when it comes to how to succeed in love and relationships. Okay, unless we're in crisis, unless we have a problem, but not just like normal problems. Normal that fit under we're good. Uh, big problems. And somehow, despite the fact that human beings are very confusing, very complicated, and even when we come from very similar backgrounds, even if we're like the same sex or gender, we're really fucking different. Like there's just no getting around it. And we put these two people together, we ask them to learn how to get along and do life and make decisions and navigate all the changes throughout a lifetime and do it well. And for that to just work without anybody teaching us how to do it, without any good models of how to do it, without any real like practice or conversations about how to do it. And we're expected. That's the expectation that if we find the right person, we're just going to know how. Like learning how to walk. Like relationships are just inherently programmed into our brain. Like it's not like talking, y'all, because we hear other people talk that we learn how to talk. We see other people walk that we learn how to walk. Like relationships are different. We could do the basics of relationships, but to do them well, I don't think culturally most people have figured that out. This is like a new edge of evolution. This is a new growing edge of consciousness. Relational thriving, creating extraordinary relationships. Like this is like pushing the envelope of of manifestation and mindset and quantum mechanics. I mean, like we are. This is it is so much more than just how to get married and stay married. So much more than that, babes. The best relationships. If you want to unlock what is possible for you, it's going to need your leadership, it's going to need your energy, it's going to need your attention. Because a good relationship that is left just good, left unexamined, left unstretched, unprioritized, it turns bad. And if it doesn't turn bad, then what happens is you get this roller coaster effect, right? Where like it's fine and then it goes bad and you hit a bump and then you like deal with it and you bring it back up and then you're fine for a while until you hit another bump and then you have this throughout life. And what's this? Because this, I'm telling you, usually if you do it enough times, it goes down. I mean, what about like little bumps going up? That's what I'm all about. Really, what I want to do is like upward spiral. What usually happens is downward doom loop. That's the shit that I want to change, okay? Most relationships don't actually end because of one big single betrayal or event. They end from ongoing years of disconnection, of missed moments, unresolved conflicts, unmet needs, repeated patterns that aren't getting better. It's like death by a thousand paper cuts. We shrug off the tension because we think that it's normal that every relationship has these ups and downs. We justify this distance because we think that all relationships are hard work. We normalize that roller coaster. And we just let our relationships go until they blow up, until they're so far like stuck in those patterns that we feel hopeless and helpless and don't know how to get out of them. And suddenly our good relationship, we can't keep saying it's good anymore because we feel terrible. And good becomes a lie. Good becomes the excuse that we say just on autopilot. Well, we're good. And underneath we're like, fuck, I'm not good. Things are not good. That is not true. Okay? We can't just keep patching it over and then and promising to do better or convincing ourselves it's going to be better the next time and then turning away and ignoring it until it happens again and then repeating and like having to confront that and feeling, I mean, it just like I hear about that. I've been there myself and it is so painful. My heart breaks every time I hear about that, especially when I know what can happen, where you can get to what you can live and experience. And that's not to say that my relationship with Cal is 100% there, but is to say that I know that I'm walking the path to get there. I know that we're using the tools that is bringing us there, and I know that we are experiencing more and more of it. And already our relationship is thousands of times better than it ever was, and um, beyond anything that I ever imagined was even possible. And that we are seeing again and again and again the same transformations happen with our clients. So you can't tell me that this shit is impossible. And what also, and I love when this happens, right? When you're on these journeys, these spiritual journeys, these growth journeys, this new like leading edge adventures, and you're like on the leading edge, and then you start you start learning from and with other thought leaders, and you find that the same things that they're saying are the things that you've been thinking or teaching, and you hear like stuff that you've been doing repeating in like really well-known circles or from people who are like really famous and really like have got their shit figured out. And you're like, "Ah, I've been saying the same thing. I've been doing the same thing. I'm teaching the same thing. This is how my clients are getting results." It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm onto something. Because these are the masters and I'm doing it. And in some ways, a level beyond. Like I'm or a level or I've got a different angle that they're not seeing. Mm, so delicious. Anyways, so I have one more little quick story that I want to tell you about Fine that just happened yesterday, and I think it's so I think it's so I want to say funny, but funny is not quite the right word. Poignant, it's like a really powerful demonstration of how um, strong a pull this good good enough mentality is. So I was talking to one of my clients, and this client has struggled with their marriage. Their spouse is not doing this work with them, and their relationship has been really tough. And they have found a way to avoid the blowups in the relationship by placating mostly their spouse and just kind of avoiding conflict. Okay, and in so doing, they've calmed things down in their relationship, and they're surviving it. And I've been challenging my client to take more courageous steps to really rock the boat in the relationship so that they can get to a deeper level of intimacy, so they can move beyond this level of good that they're at, like, we're good, into what is actually possible. And because my client has a lot of resistance to that, because those blowups have been really draining, very, very hard for their nervous system. They take a lot of energy. They disrupt my client's life and my client's business, and so they don't want to. And that's understandable, and no judgment. We're working on developing the courage. But the thing is that they what they said to me yesterday was something to the effect of, uh, like, listen, Jenny, I figured out a way to cure cancer, but the exchange for curing cancer is that I have to endure some bad weather for the rest of my life. Like, I'll take bad weather in exchange for curing cancer, wouldn't you? And I was like, that's bullshit. Like, what? I was like, then why did you hire me? And they're like, I told you why I hired you. Yeah, you did. Because you were sick of the bad weather and you wanted to leave to find another place that had better weather. Because you, even though you cured cancer in this metaphor, could not stand the bad weather anymore, because you want intimacy, you want closeness, you want to be with someone who wants to be around you, you want to enjoy your marriage, you want to be able to communicate without being afraid, you want to stop feeling like you're walking on eggshells, you want to stop having to spend so much energy managing and avoiding blow-ups. You desire to be loved better. You desire more than good. And because of that desire, you reached out and hired me. So don't tell me that you're okay with bad weather just because you cured cancer. Don't tell me that you're okay settling for this, because if you were, you would not be here. And he needed to be reminded of that, right? Because the the courage that it takes to do this work is no small thing. The energy that it takes to do this work, especially in the beginning, is no small thing. And that, my friends, is a big reason, to be fair, why a lot of people don't. We don't have a, like, we're so pushed to the limit in so many other parts of our life that we tell ourselves the story that we don't have the energy to do this work. It's not worth it. But I'm telling you, all those little moments of annoyance, all those little moments of unhappiness, all of those little sighs of wishes unfulfilled, of connections that didn't happen, those are little tiny moments of energy that is drained and lost all day, every day, even while you're sleeping. Even while you're sleeping, loves. What could you do if you had all that energy back? What would your life look like if you woke up every day feeling like it was Christmas, feeling so alive and so loved and so pleased with your life, so excited about what was going to happen next, so fulfilled that you were ready to just, like, just pop out of bed, just in love with your life, right? Safe and happy and warm and filled up. How would it feel, right? To look at your partner and and have your face, like, burst into this giant ridiculous smile because you looked at them, and feel your heart just open and want to explode, because, like, oh my god, like, how did I get so fucking lucky to have found you and won your love? How did I get so lucky that you chose me, and to have them smile back at you? And that be, like, the regular experience. That be your normal. Imagine how much more energy, how much more capacity, how much more time, how much more you'd get done, how much more life you would get to experience if that was your normal. Believe me, you have the energy, you have the time now. It is worth the energy and the time. It is worth finding it to invest in bringing your relationship to where it could be, in learning how to get there, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, even if it's just a little baby steps, because you're going to live the next 5 years, 10 years. Why not take the next 5 years, 10 years to like take 15, 20 minutes a day to do something to grow this rather than take the next 15, 20 years to do nothing to grow this? Right? So whether it's in like a big deep dive program or picking up a book and reading 10 pages a day or joining the relationship revolution and spending 30 minutes a week, well, an hour, because now I talk 30 minutes on these conversations and then there's the activation. But right, like do something. And this is how I want to kind of wrap up our conversation today. Because we all have, if you're in a relationship, we all have this beautiful opportunity in front of us. Relationships, I believe, have this incredible purpose, not just to bring us a partner through life, which is no small thing in and of itself. Like going through life in partnership, not having to go through life solo, like having someone to share life with is amazing. But also to have someone to help us to experience, not help us, but having someone with whom to experience connection, co-regulation, communion. All of these pieces are essential to our survival, by the way, and science is starting to prove this, how essential it is to our well-being, to our survival as human beings. All of that is great, but also relationships have this purpose, I believe, to help us to expand who we are, to tap into what it really means to love. Like not just like the feeling of love, but like love on a divine and spiritual plane, to heal our hurt parts in this lifetime and from other lifetimes, to become more whole in our humanity, in our energy bodies, to experience source, to experience ourselves in our divinity, to know ourselves in our fullness, in our power, to know joy, to know love, to co-create something that is so much greater than we could ever be or do or have if we were not to choose this incredible and courageous journey of intimate partnership. That is what relationships have to offer us. But in order to unlock all of what is possible in our relationships, it has to be something that you choose to grow and to develop, to prioritize in your life. It has to be something that we learn about, to be a skill set that we hone, an identity that we embody, a lifetime of devotion that we practice. Okay? And all of this starts with the simple decision to do just that. That's it. You now know the secret that most people don't. Decide that you're going to have what most people won't, and then do the thing that most people can't, right? Because they don't know, because they are going with normal. And when you don't have awareness, you don't have choice. And when you don't have choice, you don't have power. Prioritize your relationship, love. Learn how to do it better. Become who you need to be to lead your relationship there. Stop thinking good is good enough when extraordinary is waiting for you. Now, if you are already inside the Relationship Revolution community, this week our activation is going to help you identify where you have been settling for fine. It's going to help you to dream bigger, to connect with the possibilities that are in front of you, the shifts that are going to truly level you up in your joy and your mission, your success, your co-creation in this love and this relationship and its potential. So stay tuned for that, because again, good enough is not good enough. and you deserve extraordinary. So let's take your next step to get there. If you are not in the Relationship Revolution membership yet, but you know that you are ready to stop settling for good, and you know that you want to be in community and a container that supports you in getting there and getting there and getting there and getting there every step along the way, this is your invitation to join, love. The Relationship Revolution is a monthly membership program that's just $147 a month. You can cancel anytime. You get the tools, the structure, the community, the support to lead your relationship powerfully. Even if your partner's not on board yet, of course, partners are welcome. Um, Love, like the ones we talk about here, doesn't just happen. It's led, it's learned about, and then it's practiced, right? We can't just keep it up here. We got to embody it. We got to put it into practice. And that's what we do in the Relationship Revolution. So that's what I got for y'all today. Thank you so much for giving your time and energy to this learning process. You are already ahead of the game just by being here. You are already part of the revolution by being here. Thank you. I hope that you will keep showing up. You can catch all of our Catalyst Conversations for a Relationship Revolution on our YouTube channel under the live streams. I am slowly trying to put them on the regular playlist thing, but at the very least, they're all under the live streams. And I will see you again live next Friday and every Friday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, for another Catalyst Conversation. Next month, which is November 2025 at time of recording, we're diving into a brand new theme. I'm getting into unlocking the possibilities. I think is a great segue from this conversation into the next. So I hope that you will join me. Until then, keep leading with love.